Everybody, Bandicoot Commando here, and welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Last time, I read Hela's lore story, the new one, The Queen in Black. Basically, the catch is that Hela, after pretty much realizing that Loki ain't gonna fulfill his end of the deal, and not to mention partaking in. Wait a minute, what? I received an upvote from. I haven't been in a match though. Anyway, after the many different events that happen and the fact that Loki's not going to fulfill his end of the bargain, Hela was pretty much at her wit's end. In the as she was trying to return to her domain, she heard a voice call out to her, and that voice belonged to Null. Traveling to Clintar, Hela traveled through and found Null, or at least found part of his presence, and the two made a deal with one another. Null willingly made, or sorry, Hela willingly accepted the deal and became the Queen in Black. All she has to do is to defend Clintar and rule in Null's stead until the time comes that he can arrive and resurrect. But as it came to an end, Phoenix has just arrived on Clintar, which will lead to the battle between the Queen in Black and the Phoenix Force. Who knows how that'll turn out? So today, we're gonna read Jeff's lore story. That's right. Oh, excuse me. I have a Dr. Pepper with me, so I didn't expect that coming out so soon. Yeah, this is the only Jeff skin I got now. The Adopted Avenger. Hey guys, so I need you not to freak out, because this is Jeff, and I love him, and he's coming home with us. This is kind of how what Jeff looked like in the comics. Like he's this blue color with stripes on his back, which makes him more of a tiger shark, if anything. But really in the comics, he's more of a grayish color to match a great white shark. Okay. Wait a minute. So, sprays. Okay, so yeah, accessory right here. This means that other characters will get accessories over time. By the way, if you want to know how to, store, here we are. So there's this currency. I don't know what the name of it is. Accessory points. But to get it, you have to either play quick match or tournament matches. I don't know how it works, like how many accessory points you earn, but I'm assuming that. Oh, it's trying to do this again to me to sign up, but I can't because I'm not interested. So yeah, I don't know how much you can earn and all that, but I'll eventually give it a try and see if I can earn these accessories. So, let's get to the lore. The Song of the Symbiotes. Clintar dead ahead, Star-Lord said, as his starship, the Milano, approached a somber black sphere hanging silently in the void of deep space. You just had to say dead, didn't you, Quill? Groaned Rocket. Sorry, Star-Lord said, powering down the ship's thrusters as it entered the planet's orbit. But honestly, I may not be far off. We barely made it off of this world alive last time we were here. I still want to know how they did that. Well, maybe you can manage not to crash our ship into this miserable ball of goop again, Rocket said, beginning to take out his frustrations on the ship's captain. I am Groot, Groot interrupted with a stern tone in his voice. Yeah, I know, Rocket relented. It all worked out in the end. No use arguing about it now. Except it didn't all work out, did it? Star-Lord asked. I mean, if it had, we wouldn't have had to come back here again soon, right? Probably shouldn't have left in the first place, Rocket said with a shrug. Not until we knew Null was actually a goner. We had no reason to believe he could have survived, Mantis chimed in as she entered the ship's bridge. Even I couldn't sense him after that explosion. Yeah, Rocket mused. If that if a gen, if a genetic bomb built from the divine codex of a dead celestial wasn't enough to obliterate that jerk, I don't know what is. A tiny creature growled as it hopped up on the ship's control panel to get a better view of the planet they were rapidly approaching. Jeff suggests that we should have just swallowed Null whole, Mantis said, translating for her little friend. Mantis had first encountered Jeff the land shark when they were both prisoners of an elder of the universe known as the Collector. After they had managed to escape captivity in the Collector's alien menagerie together, Jeff had accompanied Mantis when she reunited with her fellow Guardians of the Galaxy. From Yigsgard to Arakko, Jeff had proven himself a valuable ally in every battle since, and had earned his place aboard the Milano. So he had essentially become a member of the Guardians. Okay, that's neat. He took quickly to space travel, seeming to enjoy cruising through the stars almost as much as surfing through the seas. But as much as he faced every day with unbridled optimism, even Jeff couldn't find much joy in the idea of returning to Clintar. As the ship prepared for landing, Jeff began to hum a peaceful tune in an attempt to calm himself. He crooned softly. Ugh, enough with the singing already, Rocket snarled. I haven't been able to get that flarking tune out of my head for weeks. I am Groot, Groot said encouragingly, gently petting Jeff on the back of the head. I agree with the big guy, Star-Lord said. I think Jeff's a great singer. I've heard what Quill calls music, Jeffy, Rocket quipped. I wouldn't take that as a compliment. Music has been proven to have a soothing effect on countless species, Mantis added. If Jeff's melodies help to keep him calm and focused in the battle to come, they may very well do the same for us. Makes sense to me, Star-Lord said. I'm still going to bring my cassette player, though, just in case. Well, you might as well hit play now, Flyboy, Rocket said, as the Milano gently landed on Clintar's surface. 'Cause it's go time. The Guardians of the Galaxy exited their ship and cautiously stepped onto Clintar's surface. Having been on the world quite recently, they knew the many dangers posed by the species of symbiotes that call it home. As soon as they exited the ship, Mantis clutched her head in pain. Null, she said, her voice trembling. He's grown stronger. I could feel his darkness everywhere. Right on cue, several symbiotes slithered their way towards the Guardians at alarming speed. Rocket and Star-Lord both unloaded their blasters at the creatures, but the energy blast went right through the symbiotes' ever-shifting protoplasmic bodies without causing the creatures any harm. They sure look a lot angrier than the last time we were here, Rocket said. And hungrier, Star-Lord added, as a symbiote launched itself through the air towards him, its sharp fangs glistening in the moonlight. Rawr! Jeff exclaimed as he batted as he batted the symbiote away from Star-Lord with his powerful tail. Get back get back on board the ship now, Star-Lord ordered. But it was too late. The horde of symbiotes had managed to get close enough to ensnare each of the Guardians in their amorphous tendrils. In a matter of moments, the heroes had been transformed from noble warriors to devoted servants of Null. Whoa! Why were we fighting this? Star-Lord asked, examining the living costumes that had enveloped him and his teammates. They were now clad in black from head to toe, with crimson spirals on their foreheads, the mark of Null. We look totally hardcore. And all we gotta do to keep this kind of power is blast a bunch of lousy heroes in Null's name, Rocket said. Sounds like a sweet deal to me. We are Groot, Groot agreed vehemently. Jeff grunted, not nearly as enthusiastic as his allies about their sudden turn to the dark side. The little land shark was doing everything he could to resist his symbiote's control, but nothing seemed to be working. He could hear Null speaking to him through the symbiote hive mind, compelling him to give in. But Jeff had never been the type to blindly obey. Instead, he doubled down, conjuring up images in his mind of all the people he had promised to fight for. Kate, Elsa, Gwen, Sai, Mantis, Soul, and of course his newest friends, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Jeff yelped as he winced in pain. It was quickly becoming clear that happy thoughts alone wouldn't be enough to fend off Null's attempts to assimilate Jeff into a symbiote army. Perhaps a happy tune would. Jeff hummed slowly and methodically, trying to focus all his positive energy into the Litaline melody. All of a sudden, something completely unexpected happened. The symbiote that was trying to bond with Jeff began to hum the tune as well. At first, Jeff had assumed that the creature was evil, but then he remembered something that another one of his allies, Venom, had told him during their adventure on Mars. Symbiotes each have their own personalities, just like people. Null may be able to influence them to do his bidding, but he can't change who they are at their core. Jeff didn't know much about the symbiote that had surrounded his body, but he could tell that his song was getting through to it. Its frenzy attempts to overtake Jeff's mind had subsided, and now it seemed to be fighting back against Null's control instead. It was clear to Jeff that the symbiote was in great pain as it struggled to resist its creator's commands. So Jeff did something that surprised even himself. He stopped fighting and let the symbiote complete the bonding process. Jeff knew that accepting the symbiotic bond could very well turn him into a bloodthirsty monster, but there was also a small chance that it could create a unique partnership that strengthened both of them. And as a creature that always saw the best in every situation, Jeff was willing to take that risk. As the connection between Jeff and his symbiote deepened, it gained full access to Jeff's memories. It could feel the peace of the warm ocean waves. It could see Jeff playing and dancing at the Hellfire Gala without a care in the world. And it could hear Jeff's mesmerizing song growing louder and stronger. And suddenly, just like Jeff, the symbiote made the conscious choice to focus on the good in the universe, breaking free from Null's control once and for all. Jeff exclaimed with renewed vigor as the bonding process finally finished. He and his symbiote were now in perfect harmony, and Jeff had never felt so strong before. And while he was certainly hungrier than ever as well, his desire to devour everyone in sight was finally in check. In its place was a desire to help everyone in sight instead, especially the Guardians. If Jeff's song could break his own symbiote free from Null's influence, there was a solid possibility that it could do the same for the symbiotes that had bonded with Jeff's friends. Jeff swiftly swam across the planet's surface until he found himself standing in the center of the assembled Guardians. He opened his jaws wide. "I knew it! That little freak's gonna eat us!" Rocket yelled. "Null said he's gone rogue. We gotta take him out." But before the Guardians could begin their assault, Jeff sang out loud and proud. "Murr, murr, murr, murr." That song, Star-Lord said, shaking his head as if snapping out of a bad dream as his own symbiote pulled away. "So beautiful," Mantis added as she began to sway to the hypnotic melody, returning to her green self more with each beat. "Murr, murr, murr, murr." "You know," Rocket said, it actually ain't so bad after all." "I am Groot," Groot replied, coming back to his senses. As Null's crimson spirals faded from the foreheads of his companions, Jeff grinned wider than he ever had before, with hundreds of teeth showing in his symbiotic smile. "You did a good job, my little friend," Mantis said, reaching out to gently Jeff's blunt nose. "I knew you would." "So wait," Rocket said, examining his paw, which was still covered in a thick layer of symbiotic slime. "We get to keep these amped up costumes, but we don't have to follow Null's orders? That's a way better deal!" "This might be the upper hand we need to put Null down for good this time," Star-Lord said. "And it's all thanks to you, Jeff. When this battle is over, maybe it's time to make you an official Guardian of the Galaxy. What do you say?" Jeff chirped with glee as he leapt into the air and did a flip. He couldn't have been more excited about what was to come. "Better keep that track on repeat, buddy," Star-Lord said, as more heroes began to arrive on Clintar to join the impending war against Null. "Looks like we're not the only ones who are gonna need it." Jeff took a deep breath and prepared himself for the inevitable battle ahead. He knew it wouldn't be easy. It never was. But he also knew that, with a little positivity and a happy tune, absolutely anything was possible. "Just whistle while you work," they say. Alright, that will do. That was Jeff's second lore story. That was very... I'm going to assume all of Jeff's lore stories are going to be very good and wholesome in a way. Like, even this one was surprisingly wholesome despite the fact that he and the others were in real danger, but that was really neat. They obviously love Jeff so much that they're going to do everything for him. So that will do for this episode of Marvel Rivals. That was neat. I'm still getting over how great that was. Join me next time as we read Phoenix's lore story. Jean Grey, we're going to finally see the woman herself. That is it, and I will see you guys next time.